Boys, welcome back to the Power Rankings, the great return of the Power Rankings. For those that don't know what the Power Rankings are, we take up all of the decks in competitive Swiss-style tournaments. So anything that has Swiss rounds into a top 32, top 16, top 64. It kind of varies depending on all the different tournaments and how many people enter said tournaments. We try to take as many of those tournaments as possible and assign points to them in order to see what a deck's strength is. Not just on paper and theory and theoretically, this should be the best deck, this should be the best deck. What actually performs when it comes time to perform? Because at the end of the day, we all know we can say whatever we want about decks, but at the end of the day, if those decks do not win, if those decks do not top, then what the hell is the point of even playing those decks to begin with? That is what is important. Power Rankings, this time will go from the 1st to the 20th, from the beginning of the selection box. I want to try and make this more of a weekly series again if there is enough tournament data, but I will only make these videos when there is enough tournament data. So if you have any tournaments you are aware of in the community that was not included, definitely let us know. This is how we do it. First place gets 6 points, second place, fourth, 4 points, third, fourth place, 2 points, and fifth to eighth equals 1 point. We are always looking at the top 8 when it comes to top decks. Not top 32, not top 16. Top 8 is what you need to earn power ranking points to really put you on the map and see how far up you can get. Because at the end of the day, in Duel Links, the games are fast, and a lot of meme decks can make it to top 32, so it's not enough just to top, but you actually have to go deep into the tournament to earn any points for your deck. And these are the tournaments that have all had the correct formats in order to be included into this. GG Tours 32 and 33, Battle Phase 404 all the way to 408, Meta Weekly 238 to 240, Meta Freakly 158 to 160, the Ruby League 97 and 98, the AU Weekly 35 all the way to 37, and the Calvo's Cup 2 and 3. Again, if you have a tournament that follows the required prerequisites to be in the Power Rankings, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to include you in the Power Rankings. The more data, the better, in my opinion. Let's get into it. In 5th place, Phantom Knights. This deck will not die. It is very, very powerful. Funny enough, this deck is in 5th place, and you'll never guess what's in 6th place. That's right, Galaxy Eyes. Galaxy Eyes got beaten by 1 singular point, and you want to know why? Because of this. The first place GG Tour that this deck has, Galaxy Eyes has 2nd place GG Tour. So it's actually kind of funny that the one of the 2 GG Tours that ends up, a deck ends up winning, they end up on the Power Rankings, and the deck that they beat is 1 place below them. Rest in peace, Galaxy Eyes. It's all about the Phantom Knights. Phantom Knights Order is the new skill, well, kind of newish skill that people have been running. It allows them to use Break Sword multiple times. As you can see, Lemillion here has triple Break Sword in his deck, and it's been an interesting deck because, yes, the deck is able to now play a bit more aggressively and go for the OTKs, but it's still Phantom Knight, right? Aggressive Phantom Knight is like any other slow deck that you would encounter, right? So a lot of the games do tend to go long, and they tend to kind of wear out their opponents. You can see Monster Gate in here to try to fill up the graveyard and whatnot. It really hurts to see the Limit 2 and the Limit 3, because I do believe if Phantom Knight was fully unlimited, they would still be potentially one of the best decks of the entire format. But exciting to see them still here on the list, even if it is just one player kind of carrying them right now. Their ability to kind of grind decks out, especially in this kind of slower meta where a lot of decks are playing back row, and Phantom Knights are just trying to get in there and play the back row game. They have proven themselves to be pretty good at doing that. So excited to see if the deck changes at all. I don't think it will, just because of all the limits that Konami has put on it. Phantom Knights got done dirty. Moving on. Boys, Elemental Hero, Favorite Duel, Hiranui, Stall Heroes, whatever you want to call them. This new 30-card hero deck with a shit ton of back rows specifically aimed at stopping Black Rose Dragon really only became popular this last week. And look, has already earned enough points to be fourth place on the Power Rankings. I'm interested to see what happens with this deck moving forward, because I feel like a lot more people are going to play it, because let's be honest, it is a back row spam deck with the Karma Cuts, the Stygian Dirge, the Kanadias, the Book of Moons. You know, it's not a very high skill level deck, so I feel it's going to attract a lot of potential tournament players that want an easier deck to not get fatigued during you know, common tournament play. So we'll have to see how this continues moving forward, but 2 first place finishes, a good job, multiple top 4s, multiple top 8s. There's nothing really to talk about here. It's just heroes mixed with back row, and you play your back row accordingly to beat your matchup. Interestingly enough, though, we actually separated heroes from favorite heroes specifically for that reason, because the more typical hero build, the more fusion heavy / with Sunrise, not with Neos build, we pretty much put them all together. This specific build was playing Draw Since Win, but we're including all of them. The Heroes Alliance, the Wounded Hero, all of that. We're including that all into this build. I feel like this is the build that'll kind of take over, especially after the GG Tour win with the Wounded Hero. This hero build's actually really strong. It requires a little bit more knowledge of how to play the game appropriately. Sunrise has been an amazing addition to this deck, as well as Liquid Soldier, allowing you to draw into crazy you know, text that you would have. It does kind of suck that the chain link orders are still messed up. We actually saw another huge chain link order besides just the Sunrise and Liquid effect. There was also an instance in GG Tour where Solid Soldier summoned Stratos, but because it wasn't summoned on Chainlink 1, Stratos ended up missing timing. So the fact that this deck can still do this well and you know, end up you know, still topping and stuff is really amazing in my opinion. Now look at the points. This deck earned 27 points in 3rd place. Look at this jump from 3rd to 2nd place. Boom, 72 points. MEKLORDs with MEKLORD Refinement. This deck is easily the 2nd best deck of the entire format. Contender for tier 1 in my opinion, of course. They essentially have just a really broken skill that makes them an extremely good deck. Triskelion, of course, is an amazing card that will cause OTKs on anything and is, you know, naturally a synchro enemy for Black Rose Dragon in and itself. Lots of back row in this version of the build. We saw a lot of Forbidden Lance to, you know, protect the Obligado, to create the plays. This deck did suffer lately due to System Down becoming more and more popular, and there was definitely more of a surprise underdog value that the deck had in the very beginning when it first made its debut here in the you know, in the more Western Hemisphere tournaments that we have. So it'll be interesting to see where MEKLORDs ends up going, because a lot of these first place victories were early on when it was still kind of a, you know, an unknown deck. Now that it is known, it's kind of struggling a little bit, and I do kind of expect it to switch places with Hero. But we'll have to see. That's all speculation. As of right now, they are the 2nd highest deck. Good job, MEKLORDs. But now check this out. From 2nd place to 1st place, look at this point differential. Holy shit. 142 points. Black Rose Dragon. This deck is insane. I talked about it in my other video, the Rye Report, which you should definitely check out, because this video is part of a 3-video series: the Rye Report, the Power Rankings, and then the individual finals for GG Tour. Definitely recommend watching all 3 videos. Go do that right now, because oh my god, this is absolutely insane. 142 points, Black Rose Dragon. Their skill is basically auto-model play, but better. Auto-model play, you had to send a card back into the deck, and you didn't have access to that card unless, you know, you specifically added Sister or something to draw that card back. This is completely different. This is you send a card to the graveyard, which a lot of these cards have effects in the graveyard. In fact, all of them do, in this list right here, all of them do something in the graveyard or have some positive effect in the graveyard. So if you send any of those motherfucker cards to the graveyard, and then you draw another card that's effective, you know, on the field, you're basically losing nothing, and you have more resources thanks to this, you know, spell of auto-model play that we have. There is an argument for this deck to be made tier 0 being double the points of 2nd place. the meta is not solved yet, so you can't just sit down and say, oh, it's a tier 0 meta. You know, there's no other deck there, because there's still, you know, decks that are we're not really sure, right? How is Wounded Hero better than MEKLORD? Why aren't more people playing it? Because here's the other thing I want to point out to you guys. Look at the first place victories for this deck. No GG tours. They have been around for 2 GG tours and have failed to be the winner in either one. It could just be unlucky. All right, it could just be bad luck, and they haven't actually gone to the point where they can win a tournament yet, or a GG Tour tournament yet. So it'll be interesting to see right where it'll kind of fall in line. In my opinion, I would not move to say it's tier 0 yet. I think we still have to see how the meta settles. We still have to see if people are going to play more heroes over MEKLORDs, if MEKLORDs can adapt to getting system downed over and over and again. So it's probably going to take another week, 2 weeks to really fully realize if this is tier 0 or not. But Stygian Dirge in the main decks, you know, decks that are created solely to counter it, 142 points. That is absolutely insane. This deck has taken over by storm. It's just automats all over again. And this is, right now, what it feels like is automats before they became tier 0, where they were still the most represented deck. I'll have to see kind of where it goes from there. That's going to be it from me. Again, make sure to go watch the Rai Report and the Grand Finals, the GG Tour, to get full context for this video. What do you guys think of the metagame? Do you think Rose Dragon is tier 0? What do you think of the other top 5 decks? Do you think there's a deck that's super underrated, overrated? You let me know, because these are all the decks in the top 8. We talked about all of them except, you know, DDD and Burning Abyss, but their percentages are so low compared to Rose Dragon, which has 40% of the top cut chart. You guys let me know what you think of the overall metagame. Do you like this metagame? Maybe you do. I don't. So let's get into it from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next video, peace out.